Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video, episode number 536, right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. So let's get started with the first one today from Popcorn Shower. Hey Aaron, with rumors of Stone Cold returning at WrestleMania 31, I was wondering what are your thoughts on his potential opponent if he does indeed return for one last match? It seems as though there aren't many opponents worth putting over. I've gotten a lot of questions about Steve Austin and WrestleMania 31, and it seems that every year around this time, we get the Steve Austin to WrestleMania rumors. Around September, October, November, people start talking about the idea of Steve Austin coming back for one more match. It happens every year. I think Jim Ross made a very good point online. If Steve Austin does come back for one more WrestleMania and does one more match, it makes more sense for him to not return at WrestleMania 31 and instead come back the following year at WrestleMania 32, which is going to be taking place in Texas. And when you look at WrestleMania 31, it's not just the rumors about Steve Austin coming back. There's rumors about Hulk Hogan having a retirement match, the rumors about Sting having a match, the rumors about The Rock having a match. If Steve Austin comes back to WWE and has one more match, he should be the focal point of the show. The WrestleMania should be built around Steve Austin and nobody else. For Steve Austin to come back and be part of an ensemble with Hulk Hogan and Sting and The Rock possibly, it's just too much. And Dallas, Texas makes a lot more sense for a Steve Austin comeback, and that arena is bigger than Levi Stadium. They can pack that arena. They could possibly break a record, an all-time attendance record for WrestleMania 32. It just seems like a more logical place for Steve Austin to have his last match. So I don't think he's going to be at WrestleMania 31. I'm betting against it. But as far as who he would face, whether he returns at WrestleMania 31 or 32, I think that you could do Steve Austin versus John Cena. That's one obvious choice. I would like to see Steve Austin in there with somebody he has not faced on a pay-per-view. He's already faced Triple H many times. He's already faced The Rock many times. I would like to see Steve Austin against a new opponent, whether it's John Cena or Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a good possibility. Or Randy Orton, or Roman Reigns. Who knows who will be a big star come WrestleMania 32? You just don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. Bray Wyatt, maybe? You never know. I would just like to see Steve Austin in there against somebody he has never faced before. So if that happens, and the right opponent comes along, and the right story is there, I would love to see Steve Austin come back and have one more match. But I think the odds are against him being at WrestleMania 31. All right, this one comes from CM Bucks. Hey Aaron, what do you think about the announcement that the Royal Rumble will be 40-man? Thanks. Well, I really hope that's not the case. I think that a 40-man Royal Rumble is overkill. I think it's too much. I prefer the traditional 30-man Royal Rumble. If it's not broken, why fix it? Why do a 40-man Royal Rumble when the 30-man Royal Rumble is fine as it is? I don't get it. I think it's too much. The only upside to a 40-man Royal Rumble is you can bring in more guys. More guys get an opportunity to be in a high-profile match. You could bring in some NXT guys. But that's really the only positive I see out of doing a 40-man Royal Rumble. And I would prefer the traditional 30-man Royal Rumble. But there is another possibility here. And this leads me to the next question from KO Cox 20. If the Royal Rumble is a 40-man Rumble, do you think Roman Reigns will break his own record? That is one possibility. Maybe WWE has this idea where they could do a 40-man Royal Rumble, and that would be a way to have Roman Reigns come in and do something even more impressive leading up to WrestleMania by breaking his own record of eliminations and just going on a complete rampage and eliminating 20-plus guys, perhaps. I mean, it's certainly an interesting idea, and maybe that's why WWE is considering doing a 40-man Rumble for that very reason, to have Roman Reigns come in and just eliminate a ton of people and look really impressive leading up to WrestleMania. I don't know if that's the case or not. To me, that's the only logical reason I would do a 40-man Rumble, besides maybe giving some exposure to the NXT guys. But I still think that a 40-man Royal Rumble is too many guys, and it's not really necessary. All right, this one comes from CPW1978. Hey Aaron, will we see Bray Wyatt and Harper battle each other or go their separate ways? Harper may take out Rowan, then we will likely won't see much of Rowan anytime unless WWE tries a Brother of Destruction shtick. They have a Bruiser Brody John Nord feel. One would think that WWE would do something, some kind of feud between the Wyatt family members and not just randomly break them up. It's possible they'll do some kind of storyline where Harper's trying to break off on his own and Bray keeps trying to control him. That makes logical sense to do that storyline. But I'm not really sure what direction they're going in at this point. And it really feels to me like they're just stalling for time right now, trying to figure out something to do with these guys. They keep showing these vignettes on Raw. But I think the creative team is just trying to come up with something for these guys. And, it's not really rocket science. I don't know why they can't just come up with a decent storyline for these guys to split them up. I definitely feel it's time to break up the Wyatt family. I feel that it's run its course as a gimmick in terms of the faction. Harper can do well on his own, and I'm sure Bray Wyatt will do fine on his own. People have asked me about Rowan. I don't know where he goes from this point. But all three of them could do well on their own given the right storyline. But I have my doubts, my serious doubts that WWE really knows what to do with these guys and what direction to put them in. They need a creative person to take these guys and do something interesting with the characters and make them something special. Right now, it just seems like everything's up in the air and WWE doesn't really know where to go with these characters right now. All right, this one comes from Bader1993. Hey Aaron, what did you think of the way the storyline that WWE used to strip Daniel Bryan of his title? I do know that he was injured, but they claim they want an active champion. Now we only see the current champion Brock Lesnar almost once a month. It's typical WWE hypocrisy and the way WWE does things. They have a storyline, and then 6 months later, they do a storyline that completely contradicts that previous storyline with the idea that fans have short attention spans and they won't remember something that happened 6 months ago, which is really unfortunate. It really says a lot about how WWE feels about their audience, that their fans aren't that bright and they'll just watch whatever is on television, and you don't need logic and you don't need storylines that make sense in the long term. They always had the 30-day rule in wrestling for as long as I can remember, where you have to defend your title within 30 days or you lose the title automatically. I wish WWE would stick to the long-term rules and the rules that have been in standing for many years and decades even. But they do whatever they want, and sometimes, they don't think things in the long term, and they come up with these storylines and these ideas, and things happen, and sometimes they have to change plans and they have to do something that doesn't make sense because they have no other choice. With Bryan, they didn't have a choice because he was hurt and they needed to do something with the WWE title. Right now, they could have Brock Lesnar appear more. They could pay him more money, but they don't want to. They don't want to shell out the money for Brock Lesnar to be on pay-per-view every month, so they're just going to have him stay at home until the Royal Rumble, which I think is a huge mistake. I think it waters down the WWE title. I think it makes Brock Lesnar look weak. I think that you're missing out on opportunities to do high-profile matches with Brock Lesnar. As I mentioned in previous videos, you can do Lesnar versus Orton. You can do Lesnar versus Batista. You can do Lesnar versus Bryan. There's a lot of matches you could do between now and WrestleMania that would be high-profile matches. And also these matches would help elevate the pay-per-view / mega events as well and make those more special. So yes, you have to spend a lot of money on Brock Lesnar, but I think in terms of a long-term business decision, it's the correct move to have Brock Lesnar around as much as possible and just spend the money and, you know, keep your title credible, keep your pay-per-view events credible, and keep Brock Lesnar credible as well by having him regularly appear and be dominant. So, yeah, I don't understand why WWE does things the way they do, other than the fact that they're cheapskates and you know, they feel they can get away with it and fans will still watch. All right, this one comes from Clarky Boy 123. Do you still see Brock Lesnar as the same beast that beat The Undertaker, or do you think that the reputation has been damaged after his last match with Cena? Well, definitely, I feel that the reputation has been damaged with him not being around, and as I mentioned in previous videos, I really feel that that Night of Champions match did him more harm than good, but maybe WWE's right about the fans. Maybe they will forget. Maybe that's what WWE is counting on. Maybe they're counting on fans forgetting about the Night of Champions match come WrestleMania. Maybe WWE feels, since the fans have short attention spans, you know, in their minds, you know, they'll just bring Brock Lesnar back, and people will just remember the streak being ended in the SummerSlam match, and they'll forget about Night of Champions. Maybe that's what WWE's banking on. Who knows? But, you know, I still remember Night of Champions, and I feel that, you know, that match hurt Brock Lesnar's his character, definitely. All right, final question here from Alexander, WWE. Hey Aaron, what is up with David Otunga? Will he ever wrestle again, or maybe even a GM role? Maybe. Please answer in video. Well, I want to know why you're so interested about David Otunga and why you seem so intrigued by the idea of him wrestling again. I'm glad he's not wrestling. I'm glad he's not on television. I thought that he was a lousy wrestler, not a good character. You know, the lawyer thing was maybe interesting for a short period of time, and him with the coffee. You know, it was an entertaining lower card gimmick, but, you know, I certainly don't miss David Otunga, and I don't know why you're even asking about it. I mean, I think it's unlikely he'll be back because he's been gone now for a while, and WWE's focusing on other characters, and, you know, he's been phased out, and I think the odds are against WWE investing in him and making him a regular character again. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already at youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA. See you next time.